A full vineyard spray with a 4,000 to 5,000 pound machine takes about 7 hours driving up and down the rows. A drone spray takes about 2 hours. That is dozens of hours of tractor time that is removed from the vineyard and tens of thousands of pounds of compaction that we've removed from the vineyard.
We're here at Estelbrook Farms Vineyard, just outside of White Salmon, Washington. We have 84 acres. We've left a lot of it, over half of it, for biodiversity and wildlife corridors. We have 10.5 acres under vine and 10 varieties. So think high elevation, cool climate, Riesling, Chardonnay, Gewürztraminer. But we also wanted to have the luxury of farming how we wanted to farm, by farming regeneratively, sustainably, and focused on how we can be the best stewards of our patch of earth.
Drone technology has been super important for us for a number of reasons, primarily because we want to protect our soil health. We do believe that we are growing soil here, and the grapes are sort of a derivative of that.
About half of our sprays we're now able to do with a drone. We've had quite a bit of success in removing as many tractor passes as we can.
We can reduce the amount of times we're driving through the field, reduce the amount of times we're running over our cover crop and disturbing the ground and compacting the soil.
It also allows us to use less material, which a 2.5 gallon jug of something is $1,000. You can make materials last longer.
The ability to dial in all the settings, like gallons per acre, for example, which is possible to calibrate with sort of like gross settings on the tractor. I figure I'm doing about 35 gallons an acre with the tractor. You can get down to like 1.5 gallons per acre with the drone. So it gives us so much more ability to control exactly what we're putting out and how much we're putting out and exactly where we're putting it out.
It also allows us, when we're 2 days warning and there's going to be a heat event, we can spray something that helps, it acts as kind of a sunscreen for the grapes to help prevent sunburn. It also helps prevent smoke taint if there's a wildfire coming through. It's really hard to just fit in on kind of a whim a 7-hour tractor spray. That's a whole big ordeal that we have to work into our schedule that wasn't planned. But if we can come out and do a 2-hour spray, it allows us to have more items in our toolbox at our disposal in order to cope with climate change.
Operating the drone is pretty autonomous. I set a boundary, a geofence boundary, using satellites and my phone around the entire 10.5 acre field here then. And I set it how many gallons per acre, what the width of the pass is, what the droplet size is, all those different variables. And then algorithmically, the app will say, this is the best route we think. It'll usually look at flying the longest passes. So in this case, east-west versus north-south, the fewest turns are where you're gonna be the most efficient with your battery life. Then I can sort of do micro adjustments based on, is there a wind from a certain direction? Did it get off by a couple of degrees? So I can line it up nice and straight to get full coverage and reduce the number of returns, because every time it comes back, we have to swap out the batteries and swap out the tank. It gets about 98% of the way there, and then I just tweak it a little bit. And then it's a matter of pushing takeoff, and I just watch it to make sure it's flying safely. And then it goes for about 12 minutes or so until the battery is low or until the tank is empty. Comes back, we do a little hot swap, new battery, new tank, push, take off, and it goes again. And it takes, depending on what we're applying, between 4 and about a dozen swaps of batteries and tanks to do the entire vineyard. And like I said, about 2 hours to do a full pass.
And it'll recalculate. It'll make algorithmic adjustments on the fly, and so you don't have to think about any of that. It's gonna make the most efficient path for the machine, and it's doing all of those calculations for you. At the outset, cost is really high. We bought our drone 3 years ago, and the cost has come down just as the technology is cutting edge but not bleeding edge anymore. The regulations going through FAA registration and getting your drone pilot's license, there's a lot of paperwork and bureaucracy that you have to go through. You have to have a co-pilot, you still have to get your blood tests and vision exam because they think you're still flying an actual thing. You have to wear a vest and you're like, but you're standing on the ground, you're not actually flying in the air. Wading through some of those idiosyncrasies has been difficult, but I think probably the biggest barrier to entry for most farmers would be cost.
We've learned so much over the last 10 years, and it's really sharpened our point of view, and I think made it so that we can deliver better products to the market.
It also made a lot of sense for us to be able to scale us. It's faster and cheaper and easier to spray with a drone than it is with a tractor.
It's a little bit more difficult visually to measure lack of something, lack of compaction, for example, but I know saving 5 hours per spray makes a huge difference. Not to mention the fact that it saves in our wallets too. As Shahnnen said, you can titrate out the material a lot more effectively. So saving money is a big one that we notice as well.
And there's fewer emissions. It runs on batteries, and our electricity here is from wind or hydroelectric. So it's just a lot lighter on the land in a bunch of different ways.